So I've been told your seasons of isolation lead to great transformation. What in the world do you do when you've outgrown your own life? Well, you can change your environment, at least for a little while. You see, I've shifted into this new space mentally, but physically, I was still stuck in the same space, like wet laundry, missing the hoop when you throw a basketball, a dandelion, waiting for the wind to pick up its seeds. Satisfaction remains absent. The insatiable feeling doesn't go away unless you do something about it. I think there's two types of people in the world. Those who are just cruising, chilling through life, and they get overwhelmed with the possibilities that may exist for them, afraid of change. Or there are those, like me, maybe you, who are always uncomfortable and seeking for what's next, excited at the thought of exploring more. You might think it contradictory for me to revisit a place that I actually inhabited years ago during my childhood, but to be very honest, I think it's the only place in the world in which I can get some clarity and focus. I consider it a waiting room, the in-between space before stepping into the next destination of my journey. Honey, I'm home. I'm very lucky to be able to have a place like this just to get away from the city and the noise and the polluted air and just to breathe in an environment where there is so much peace. So I'm at my brother's house for a couple of days just to chill out. My brother and I live very different lifestyles. He's a surfer / skater, and the pace of life here is so much more relaxed. There's a lot of creative minds in this community, and their approach to life, it's like dialing your energy back about 30% and just appreciating the more slower, peaceful, quieter times in life. This is also the area in which I grew up during my childhood, and it really pulls me back and kind of humbles myself into remembering or reminding where I came from and where my roots are. I recently re-bleached my hair, and I think the sea salt and air here will probably turn it into a huge frizzy mess. It already is, but that's how it goes. Sometimes I'm like, do I go back to this slow-paced life, and do I live in a house that I can breathe in? And to be honest, I don't really know yet, but I definitely picture myself one day owning a house as big as this. Surfers have this unique terminology. Like my brother's housemate, for example, was like, "Oh, are you frothing today?" I'm like, what the does that mean? I looked at him and I was like, froth? Like, what? Am I frothing? And then he explained to me, he's like, frothing is like being excited for the beach, for the waves. I'm like, oh, right. My brother is also a vegan, so he eats nothing but completely healthy vegetables. Yeah, he hasn't eaten meat in like a couple years now, and he's tried to make me go vegan, but every time I attempt, like I can't help but crave a goddamn cheeseburger. So whenever I come here as well, he's just feeding me like, have some oats, have some chia seeds, have some curry that has no meat and is not made out of any dairy product but substitutes no egg, just tofu. I thought I was decent at meditating, but he is like, he's something else. Like he'll light the incense and he'll play his meditative music, super calming meditative stuff, whereas I usually would blast like Nicki Minaj or Ice Spice on and I'll be like twerking my ass, but he's like so chill. I really admire my brother as well because he started this brand a couple of years ago called Sabi Skateboards, and it's a youth skate apparel brand that's all about sustainability and being ethical. Everything is organic and made sustainably. Hi. Just came in. There he is. I was literally just talking about your brand.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the beach if you're okay.
Yeah, I'll come. Guess we're going to the beach. The first time I realized I had outgrown a part of my life was probably when I was like 11 or 12 years old. From a very young age, I just knew that I wanted something different for myself, and I didn't see myself living this life that my brother does, where he's going to the beach every day. Because my parents always brought us to go to the beach on weekends and go surfing or be out in the sun, just be with nature, I got to a point where I actually got bored of that. It was too slow paced. And when I was old enough to be able to be left at home, that was when the plotting started, or the plan to live a different life. Not that I wasn't grateful for the childhood that I was given. I saw other people's lives on the internet. I looked around at the life I had, at the childhood I had, and I was like, you know what? I don't like this. I want something different for myself. But then there I was as an 11-year-old sitting at the beach waiting for her dad to finish up surfing so he could drive us all back home. I was bored of it. I did surf as well. Mind you, I was quite a good surfer. God, Lord, put me on a board right now and I'm wiping out every single goddamn wave that you put me on, so. My whole family would gather around the TV to watch like the AFL or like watch the surfing competitions, and like I thought I was into that. Like I even did like a presentation at school about surfing because I thought that was my identity, or that's what I thought I liked. But actually, like I didn't like it. Like I wasn't interested in it. But I thought because it was the only thing that was exposed to me as a child, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I like it. But I'm still at that like, no, I wanna work. I wanna be around people. I wanna be around busy crowds. I wanna be around music and laughter and loud things. And here it's not that. Currently, my brother is reading this book. It is called Present Moment, Wonderful Moment. And it's by the author, I think his name is pronounced Thich Nhat Hanh, I could be wrong. In excerpt 27, Letting Go, he says, every day there are ways in which we get caught in attachments, and so we continue to suffer. If only we could learn the art of releasing, happiness would come right away. Our worries and concerns prevent us from getting in touch with the wonders of life. We have all had the experience of being reminded of what is most important to us. Sometimes we are reminded by a friend or a teacher. Sometimes it may be the sound of the bell, bringing us back to ourselves in the present moment, enabling us to see the situation more clearly. Then we can let go of our worry, craving, or concern, so we can be free to encounter the wonders of life that are always there in the here and the now. Now this is the thing. A lot of people get attached to people and places that no longer serve them a greater purpose. Not to be super spiritual or anything, but you have to start letting go of things that don't ignite your soul on fire or serve no spark in your life. Too many of us are holding on to things that are holding us back. Sometimes we end up in relationships that are so comfortable that we forget that there is the rest of the world out there waiting for us. And there's actually a shit ton of people on this earth waiting to experience you. Tyler, the Creator, once said something like this. He said, you do realize that that small circle of friends and the places that you go to every single day is not the rest of the world. And he is so right, because oh my God, there is so much more out there waiting for you. We're never promised a set amount of time to live, and you don't know when your last day is. I don't know when my last day is. So what are you gonna do with this limited time on earth? Not to sound all woo-woo, but you don't know the potential that you have. Sometimes we don't even recognize what we're attached to the point where we're living life on auto mode and not realizing that we can easily change the route that you take to work. Or maybe instead of going to this cafe on your Sunday, go to another one that's literally up the road, and you might just unlock another entire world. Little things. I'm not saying go on a big trip to Europe and go have an eat, pray, love moment in Italy. Sometimes all it takes is just switching up your routine.
Not enough of us sit with ourselves and like in peace, like really sit with ourselves. No phones, no dopamine hits from technology, no music, just you, yourself, and nature. I hope that you have a place of purpose that can give you this sense of peace and this sense of calmness. The energy I had once put into so many other individuals, I am now giving it back to myself. Too much time in isolation can actually be toxic for you. Make sure you're finding that right balance of social interaction and pouring into others when you've poured enough into yourself. One thing that's bothered me the most recently is that I'll be sitting with a group of friends and I realize that I just have nothing in common with them at all. I'm fed up with shallow conversation and surface level topics of discussion. Now I seek and intentionally crave those one-on-one interactions because that's what energizes me the most. And that's when I know I'm like, oh, I love these people very dearly, but I think I've grown in another direction to them. People can be completely happy being in a comfortable, stable job, and the idea of possibilities can overwhelm them, whereas there are people like me who aren't comfortable in the constant same pattern of day-to-day things and are always seeking change. I genuinely feel closer to myself than I have in years, and I'm very more sure of who I am as a person and my identity overall. Because I was so focused on working for someone else and for doing something else, I forgot my own dreams. I finally think it's time now where I can say to myself, you've done a good job these past couple of years, now just sit back, relax, see where your creative energy takes you. Just take a moment to give yourself a pat on the back and be like, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.